Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a video doing a 3-month follow-up on the Sutera Bath Mat in the slate gray version that I've been using as a dish mat in my kitchen. We'll discuss how it's performed, the general wear and tear, and its overall appearance after 3 months of use. Then we're actually going to do a unboxing and review of the Sutera Bath Mat in the white marble design, which I have recently purchased for using as a traditional bath mat in my bathroom because I've liked the Sutera Bath Mat so much. As always, if you're interested in purchasing either of these, I'll leave links in the description below for where you can find it either on the Sutera website or on Amazon directly. Okay, so this is the Sutera Bath Mat that I've been using in my kitchen for the past 3 months as a dish mat rather than a traditional kind of like foam or cloth dish mat. And since that time period, I'll say that I absolutely love this thing. You can refer to my past video, but this thing absorbs water immediately. It just keeps your counter space cleaner, more organized, and just less dirty. You don't really have to worry about a cloth or foam dish mat getting wet and soaked and having to clean it on a regular basis. I keep it next to my sink on the counter exactly as you see it. And so I have this basic wire dish rack that I put some dishes in, and then other times I'll put things directly on the dish mat, and it's performed exceptionally well. If you put things on this, it'll absorb water immediately, and as long as you don't put too much water on this or too many dishes at a time, it'll dry out and you won't have to worry about it kind of getting gross and disgusting. I'll show you what it looks like after 3 months of use. And so this is their kind of like gray version. It's got this wavy pattern and it's kind of like a tan gray. As you can tell, there are stains on this, and largely these are the results of me making coffee. The reason being that I use a pour over coffee maker, and when I rinse out the coffee maker, I just rinse it with water. So a lot of times there is some residual coffee that'll drip on it. So if you look here, there's like a ring, multiple ring areas where I usually put the coffee maker on it. And so there's several areas where it's stained, but overall it's held up pretty well, and it hasn't changed in color or faded. What we'll do in this video is I somehow misplaced the sander that comes with the Sutera Bath Mat, but after I unbox this other one, what I'll do is I'll use the sander on this to give you a general sense of how it looks after sanding it, to give you a sense of whether these stains come out with the sander or whether they're permanent. But in general, it looks pretty good on your counter space. It absorbs water extremely well, and it's very easy and convenient just to put a dish rack directly on this and kind of absorb water as you clean the dishes and things like that. And so what we'll do now is we'll unbox the white marble version. We'll show you side by side what the differences are. So if you're interested in potentially purchasing these, you can see like a side by side comparison. They also have a black version of this as well. I personally don't have that, but you can check out their website. But we'll get this box open. All right, so this is going to be the Sutera Bath Mat in the granite marble or white marble color. They have a white marble version of this as well as a black marble version of this. I purchased this directly from Sutera's website with like a 20% promotional code or coupon, which brought it down to a price of about $43. But typically it ranges from $80 to $90 for the mat. So definitely check on different links and coupons to see if there's a promotion currently available. But the Amazon price and the Sutera website price are usually identical. The reason why I got this is I wanted to purchase this for using as a traditional bath mat in my bathroom because I've liked using the dish rack so much. Because this absorbs so much water, I'm hoping to switch over to this rather than a traditional bath mat so that I just have a cleaner, neater, and more organized bathroom without having to worry about water being dripped when I get out of the shower. And so what we'll do real quick is we'll discuss the box. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you can check out my other video, but basically Sutera has these bath mats. It's going to be a stone bath mat. It's going to be made of diatomaceous earth, which is basically a natural mineral that deposits in like riverbeds and clay beds, and it's highly absorbent of water. So it's very good for using as a bath mat, a dish rack, kind of any purpose where you need to kind of absorb water easily and not have to worry about mold or things like that. On Sutera's website, they're going to have a marble version that's going to be either white or black. They're going to have this kind of like tan version, and then they're going to have like a darker or slate gray. There's a variety of color options, and if you go on their website, if you want to mix and match, they usually have discount codes where you can either purchase 1, 2, or 3 in combination, which offers a discounted price as compared to the full price. And then one thing I wanted to note is if you wanted to combine different colors, all you have to do is reach out to their chat support on the website, and they'll arrange the order according to whatever you need. So on the website, if it looks at 1, 2, or 3 and you're trying to order them, it'll all look like it's the same color, but just reach out in the chat and they'll kind of adjust the order accordingly. Beyond that, basically it's one single box. This box is going to include a bath mat, a non-slip pad, and the sanding tool. The sanding tool is what we're going to use later to clean this up, so we can get a general sense of how this looks after cleaning it up. But we'll just take this out of the box. So this is virtually going to be identical to the last time. It's going to have a nice packaging as far as protecting the actual bath mat. Sorry, my scissors were put to the side. I'm going to cut this open and kind of get it open so we can get it out of the way. But basically, what's going to come in this is going to be the actual bath mat, a non-slip pad, and then instruction manual, and then sanding tools, okay? And so let me just put that to the side. So these are the sanding tools. There should be 3. Somehow I misplaced the previous ones, and I don't know where I put them. I looked all over, but we'll use one of these on the other dish rack so that we can get a general sense of how those perform. There's going to be an instruction manual that discusses the general like properties of it, everything about the dish mat or bath mat. I'm not going to go into this in detail because I did it in my prior video. And then there's going to be a non-slip pad that I highly recommend using. What you'll find is if you put this directly under the bath mat, it won't slide as much. And so as you can tell, if I have the non-slip pad, it doesn't slide whatsoever. But if you do not use that, it slides very easily. And so definitely use the non-slip pad. But for right now, we're going to just put that to the side as well. And then this is going to be the marble or white marble version. And so as you can tell, it's got this marble pattern. To be honest, looking on the pictures and things like that online, I thought this was going to be more of a smooth finish and really look like marble, but it's kind of got this like coarseness to it. So as you can tell, there's like a coarse texture to it, which is the result of it being diatomaceous earth rather than like a marble. So the advantage of this is, one, by being coarser, you're less likely to slip. But 2, with this design as compared, if you see the other one, there's no ridges or grooves in it. So this one has texture to it. So if you step on it and use it as a bath mat, there's an advantage where you're less likely to slip. So the advantage of this being a little bit coarse is you're not going to slip, but it just kind of feels like a dry sandy clay finish. And this is the general look of the marble as compared to that slate gray version or the tan version. So I'll say that the pictures do look a little bit different. It'd be interesting to see the black marble as compared to this side by side. I don't think I need to purchase that, but if I do in the future, I'll try to look and see if I want to get that. But this is going to be the white marble finish. Real quick, what I'm going to do, just because it looks so cool to do this, is I will do a spill test real quick on this so you can get a general sense of how well it absorbs water and how quickly it absorbs water. Alright, and so very similar to my last video, I've got a full cup of water. What I'm going to do is basically just spill this directly on this, and you'll get a general sense of how well this absorbs water. And so I'm spilling this directly on, not even worrying about it, and we'll just give you a general sense of how quickly this absorbs, and we'll just sit here for a moment. So I'm actually rather surprised because this is performing a little bit worse than this version. So I don't know if the marble composite or how they designed this, but it to be honest, is absorbing a little bit worse as compared to the other one. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. Maybe I just poured too much water, but as you can tell, it's soaking it up, but not as well as the other one, if you look back at my last video. So it is what it is. There might be something about the slate or the marble finish that makes it a little bit difficult, or maybe I just poured too much water on it. But if you sit here and sit over time, it will absorb it into the actual finish and dry out. But it's just funny because I try to emphasize or sell this product or promote it, and when you throw it on video, it just doesn't perform as well as I'd like. So it's interesting to see. But if you sit here right now, as you can tell, it is absorbing into it now, and it's actually drying out pretty quickly. So I probably just poured too much water on it. But let's just sit here and let it finish doing this, just so you get a general sense of how quickly it does dry out once you have water on it. So it's about fully absorbed in. The surface is a little bit wet, but as you can tell, this is what it looks like after being wet. So it still has that marble finish. It's not really any different. It does still have texture to it, so you're not going to slip. You can feel just by touching it that there is moisture in it, but it did absorb the water. For somebody coming out of the shower, stepping onto this, it'll serve the purpose of kind of like absorbing the water and most likely drying out between showers. The one caveat is if you have a lot of people in your household that are showering multiple times, this may not fully absorb all the water, so just be careful with that, or kind of like drip dry prior to stepping on this. But that's what this looks like after pouring about like a cup of water on it and letting it fully absorb in. I'll say that it generally performed a little bit worse than the other one. But what we'll also do is, what we'll do now is we'll sand down the other one to give you a general sense of how that looks after using it as a dish mat for 1 month, and how the sand then performs as far as removing the stains. All right, so this is the one from the dish rack again. What we're going to do now is we're going to just walk through sanding these areas that have stains on it using the included sanding tool, and we'll just see how well this removes the stains. This is what it looks like before, okay? And then real quickly we'll just sand it all and just get a general sense of what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so that's just one run across it. I'll say that when you sand this, it is like sanding wood. Because it's a stone, you'll see that there is like this powdery residue that comes across it. I'm not going to sand it too much, to be honest, because I didn't care that much about the stains, and the manner in which I'm using my coffee and like pour over set and putting this on this, it's just going to get stained again. So I just want to give you a general sense that yes, with the sanding, those stains did come out pretty well. There's still some residual that are deeper that I suspect if you sanded it further or sanded it when the stains actually happen, it might come out very easily. But in general, it does improve the overall look of it. It kind of gives it a new fresh finish. There is a powdery residue, so you have to be careful with that. But this is kind of what it looks like after kind of sanding it with the included sander. I suspect that using it as a dish mat, you'll get a lot more stains as compared to using it as a bath mat, because when you're coming out of the shower, it's really just water. But when you use it as a dish mat, you're going to have different kind of things dripping down. Just be careful with it, and ideally clean it off entirely and don't put coffee on it But this is what it looks like. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm actually going to wipe this down from the dust, and I'm going to do a spill test on this real quick just to give you a general sense of how this performs, because I do think this one performs a little bit better than the alternative, the other one, the marble finish, and I'm not entirely sure why. Okay, so we're going to repeat the test the exact same way. I'm going to pour all this water directly on this, and we'll see how this performs after 3 months of use and whether there's any difference between the classic version as compared to the marble version. But we'll pour this over just like I did in the other segment and kind of just see how well this absorbs. And so this is probably too much water for this mat in general, but let's just see. So one thing to note is I think the grooves in here do help a little bit. It kind of like allows the water to get more surface area, so that might be a benefit of why this one seems to be absorbing water a little bit better. It didn't absorb all of it, there's still puddles and stuff. But the other thing to note is that even with sanding, all these areas where I sanded still have stains. So those areas, they're definitely deeper stains that are in the stone that probably can't come out unless you really sanded it a lot. And so I don't think it's really worthwhile to pursue that, because it'll just kind of cause damage or thin this out more. So it is what it is, but in general, don't put coffee on this or any other substance with color. But as you can tell, this one does seem to be performing a little bit better. You can already see it's absorbing the water. There's still pooling here, but for some reason, as compared to the marble version, this one does seem a little bit better. It might be the surface area and the grooves on it. I'm not going to sit here and let it dry out entirely, but that's a general sense of the Sutera Bath Mat. You can purchase it either on Amazon or on Sutera's website. They have this grooved version in this tan color, a slate gray version, and I think one other darker version. Then they have this white marble version that is like this grayish color, as well as a black version of this. If you're interested, definitely check it out. If you have questions, comments, please post them below. But I'll probably do a follow-up on using this as a bath mat in the future, just to give you feedback after using this for several months. But it should be much better than using like a traditional bath mat. So if you have questions, comments, post them below. But that's a general follow-up on the 3-month follow-up on this one, as well as doing an unboxing of the other one.